In this video we're going to look at Telnet. First we're going to have a quick overview of Telnet, what it is, and then we're going to look at using Telnet for troubleshooting email problems. Now Telnet is a terminal emulation protocol which allows you to enter commands across a TCP/IP network. What exactly that means is that if you consider the normal way you access the computer, you're sitting there physically at the computer with your keyboard directly connected to the computer, your video monitor is directly connected to the computer, and you enter commands at the keyboard. Now most people today use a graphical interface, but in the early days of computing everything was done using the command line, and the command line is still used frequently today for network administration. Now if you had a network of computers like we've got here, then you would have to have each of these computers equipped with a keyboard and monitor, and to manage that computer you would have to physically go to that computer, sit at the keyboard and type in commands. Now Telnet was designed to allow you to actually manage those machines remotely rather than having to physically go to the machine location to manage them. Now it consists of two components. It consists of a Telnet server which runs on the machines you want to manage, and it consists of a Telnet client which runs on the management machine. So using Telnet you sit here at the management machine using your Telnet client, and you can manage these remote machines just as if you were physically sitting at a console at those remote machines. Now almost all operating systems come with a Telnet client, and on a Windows system you go to the run command and type Telnet, or you can go to a DOS prompt and type Telnet, and that takes you into the Telnet command prompt, and we're going to look at that in a short while. If you're running Windows 7 or above, then you may need to enable Telnet, and you need to go to Control Panel, Programs, and you can see here you need to tick the box for the Telnet client. This is on Windows 7, I assume. Windows 8 and above is very similar. Now Telnet isn't secure. It wasn't designed to be secure. It was designed a long time ago. It's mainly replaced by a secure shell today, which is secure. However, Telnet does make a useful troubleshooting tool, and it is still used for legacy systems that don't support a secure shell. And we're going to look at using Telnet now to troubleshoot simple email problems. So now we can look at using Telnet to troubleshoot email problems. Now the email protocols POP3, SMTP were designed around the same time as Telnet, and they work in a similar fashion. They're all what we call command response type protocols. So the client connects to the machine, to the server, issues a command, and it gets a response back. And this is showing the POP3 command response, but SMTP works in a similar fashion, and IMAP4, which came later on, was designed using the same idea, and it works also in a similar fashion. Now if we take a typical mail server, it has an IP address which I haven't shown there, but it's sitting there listening on port 110 for POP3, port 25 for SMTP, and 143 if it's running IMAP4. So to test whether that server is up and running, we can just ping the IP address, and that will test the server is up and running. But how do we test that it's running a POP3 server, and how do we test it's running an SMTP server? And how do we test it's running an IMAP4 server? Well, what we need to do is connect to the server using one of those ports, and we can do that quite easily using Telnet. And the command is actually quite simple. You go to a DOS prompt and you type in Telnet, the server name and the port number. So for POP3 you type in Telnet S1 110 for POP3, Telnet S125 for SMTP, and Telnet S1 143 to connect to IMAP4. So let's have a look at how we do that in real life. And I've got a mail server up and running, and it's running and the mail server supports POP3, IMAP4 and SMTP. So let's open up a DOS prompt. So here I'm at my DOS prompt, and I just type in Telnet, the server name and the port number to test that server. Now all I really need to do, I don't need to enter any commands into it, I just want to see if it's working, and if it responds to me, it's working. So if I type in Telnet, the server name, port 25, I get a response back from that server. Now I can sit here and type in some SMTP commands, and I can send email using the command line if I want to, but for troubleshooting purposes all I need to do is to test whether it's responding, and it is. So now I just quit that, and to test POP3 I just do the same thing, but this time I enter a different port number, 110, and again it's responded okay, so I can just quit that and I'm done. Now let me show you what happens if it doesn't respond, if it's not listening on POP3 or SMTP. So let me just pause this and stop my server. Okay, now I've disabled SMTP on that server, so let me test it again. And I get a connection failed message from Telnet. So that basically tells me that something's wrong with that SMTP server. Maybe the port's blocked for a firewall, or maybe the server's down. Okay, so before I go, I just want to show you using Telnet from the Telnet prompt. So if I just type in Telnet now, I go to a Telnet prompt, you can see it there. Now to do the same thing I need to open a connection to that server. And again it's failed, but I'm still at the Telnet prompt, and if you just type in help, it will give you a list of Telnet commands that you can use. And one thing you may need to do is to turn on local echo, and you can see there it's the set command that you're going to use to enable local echo. There's the set command there, and you can set local echo on, or you can set local echo off. And what that means is that when you type in commands here, you will actually see the commands. If local echo is turned off, you won't actually see the commands you're typing in. Okay, so that's the end of this video. What is Telnet and how to use Telnet to troubleshoot basic email problems. You can find more information on the site. And on the site I go through how to use Telnet to actually send emails. So we go through the SMTP commands to send an email using the Telnet prompt. But I say that's not really necessary for troubleshooting basic email problems. All you need to do is to connect to it, and if you get a response, it's working. If you don't get a response, it's not working. It's that simple. Okay, that's the end of this video. Until next time, bye.